Hey guys, gonna let everybody join in like we did last time, and then we'll get started here in a second. All right, what's going on, everybody? This is another Ask Me Anything, number 3 for Snowyowl. A lot happened today, so it's kind of good that we scheduled this Ask Me Anything. I know I did a brief little live thing where everybody could kind of just casually talk. Obviously, this one's a little bit more formal. I want to take a lot more questions today, so please, if you have anything to ask, come up and speak about it today. Let me get my document up. I just want to say great job for everybody that was involved today. A lot happened. There was a little bit of a doomsday. We had, what did we get to? 75 cents, our first below peg that I had seen in almost over 18 days. We've now printed for, pull up stuff here. $72 epochs. 72 epochs we have been running. And I just want to say congratulations to everybody. I think we've done an amazing job. And I hope that we can continue. Today was extremely rocky. But we have a lot of buys coming in. A lot of positive things coming up, especially the Genesis pools. This weekend will just bring in a lot of TVL, short term or long term, doesn't matter. The goal is to bring them in and convert them into long term holders for the protocol. That's my goal. That's my vision for it. Yeah, sure, there's going to be tons of whales that just want to exit instantly, but we only have a 24-hour Genesis pool, and I think that will really deflate the odds that a whale gets in and then just dumps, because 24 hours at probably 4 to 5% isn't very lucrative for whales. When you have Genesis pools running for 48 hours, they get a humongous supply and then just dump it. I'm sure we will see that, by the way, so I don't think anybody should fear that. It's pretty normal. I'll start taking some Ask Me Anything questions in a second, and I'll read over those, and then I'll take any questions that come up. But I did want to talk about strategy for Layer 2, and again, if you have any questions, just start typing them out, and I'll get to them here in a second. So for right now, what we have for Layer 2 is Fox Joe, Snow Joe, Snowshare Joe, and Joe and USDC single pools. Those are the 4 or 5 Genesis pools that we will have running for 24 hours on Saturday. And those will produce the new Fox token, which is, of course, pegged to Joe still. My best strategy for it, and again, I'm just an investor like everybody else, so I can only speak on what I would do. Snow Joe, especially if you hold Layer 1 and you continue to want to hold Layer 1 and want it to be successful, Snow Joe is the best choice. Most of you all already have most of that. Some of it's in single stake right now because, of course, we had to do that to get us above peg. But we will have opportunities over the next coming days when we have a little bit of runs where people come through and want to join the new Genesis pool, and they're going to start buying the tokens. I'm not promising that we're going to go like 3x or anything. I've seen somebody talk about $3. I'm not saying that, but I think you'll have enough buying pressure to be able to break that LP or break the single side, start buying some Joe, and LP that back up so that you're able to get into the Genesis pool with a strong position. Snowshare Joe is fine. If you want to take some out of the boardroom, look, I'm all for it. If you want to take stuff out of the boardroom from layer 1, that's cool because the APR is going to go huge, and everybody that's still in the boardroom from layer 1 will print. I'm not personally going to do Snowshare Joe. So if you want to, cool. And then also Joe and USDC. If anybody didn't see that, the multipliers are minimal, and that's because we want people buying in with layer 1 tokens. We don't want whales to come in and just buy a ton of Joe, put it in the pool, get a bunch of new tokens, dump on everybody. It gives people the opportunity that don't want to invest in layer 1 for some odd reason. It's just there. So don't think that's going to be some new whale tactic is to use Joe or USDC. Also, whenever people deposit in there, I think there's a 1% fee if I'm not mistaken. So we're also going to get treasury fees for that as well. That's going to use, we're going to have further use cases for the treasury. So yeah, that's kind of my strategy going into layer 2. And I think it'll work out well. I love Snow Joe. And again, after you've been accruing some Fox every hour or 2 hours, I'm going to be adding new Joe to Fox and adding that back in and compounding it back into the Genesis pool for 24 hours. We need that Fox Joe. I see people asking, why is there Fox Joe in there? Because you want to give holders of Fox, the new Fox token, LP room to be able to sustain that price. Of course, it's going to go down, but you want to give people a place to park it and sustain that price and get people early into getting that LP developed so that we don't see large price swings. And again, I'm not saying we won't because I think it will, but it definitely reduces it because you'll see a lot of people put single stakes, and that's why we didn't put single stakes in the Genesis pool. Why do I want a bunch of people putting in single stake Snow or single stake Snowshare and coming in and only having to sacrifice the threat of the price going up or down on one token where liquidity pools are, you have that impermanent loss, but you're also fighting for the protocol at that point. So that's what we want. I think that's healthier. So that's why you don't see a bunch of diluted a diluted 15 pool Genesis pool. That's how I wanted it. I'm glad that the devs saw it the same way. So that's my strategy going into it. That's what I have to say. If you have more questions about what you think is a good strategy or comments on it, please come up and ask. Please discuss what action should everyone take to support Snow when we are below peg. Should we be doing the same when we're just above peg, just in case? At what Xpeg level should we move to LPs and staking Snow to earn shares? All right, so here's how I see it. Snow right now is at healthy levels at 1.17x of Joe, of the peg. So in my opinion, any small holders can start breaking some of the LP or selling over time. But I don't like seeing selling until we're past 1.3x. I think it's more sustainable if I start preaching that rather than saying, hey, right now we're above peg, start dumping and making LP. Because if we do that in mass, you're going to see a large downtrend, and then we're going to be back in the same position. So we need breathing room before we can all re-LP if you did do that. Of course, there's some people that have to stay LP'd, and I have a small position that I added new Joe to just to keep LP because I think that's healthy. But my large position right now, of course, is in Snow by itself, single staked. I think 90% of my position is in single stake Snow to, try and help everybody out. I wanted everybody to have that. I think if I don't do it, then how can I expect anybody else to do it? So I took all my profits that I've been making, of course, put it back into Snow. Because I believe in it, and there's a reason I believe in it, and that's why we've got whales buying in, and that's why our price is at 1.17, and Snow shares is up 12%. It's at $63. So we have people interested. We had a huge downtrend. It was scary. Whales exiting. I'm pretty sure some of the same whales bought back in. I don't know if it was a tactic to try and test the community to see if they could get better buy-ins, see how well we were sustaining. I actually thought it was going to be a lot harder to sustain peg this time. Once we hit lower, I thought that it would be a much longer road, which I was fine with. Again, this protocol is designed to do this. It's designed to go under and above peg constantly. What makes Tomb Forks fail is when it goes below peg, a community breaks down or wells exit, and it never reaches peg again within the first couple of days. And then people start dumping because they see no benefit because the BR isn't printing or whatever else. But the benefit I see of us having constant attraction to snow right now is that our emissions are so high, so we're able to keep our APR so high. So there's always going to be benefits or people seeing it's lucrative to buy in. We did have a 28K buy from a whale. I actually thought it was a different whale that had reached out to me asking for some advice, the number 2 holder, but it was not. It was somebody else from the community. Hats off to him for the 28K buy. Definitely changed the mood and made everybody feel a little bit better. So, again, I don't want to see making LP. This is your own financial decision, but for me, I don't want to see LP being remade until we hit the 1.4, 1.5x. We're sitting comfy. People are taking, 10% at a time and then re-LPing that. And then whenever we're healthy still, do a little bit more. And as more people are creating LP, the price sustains itself much better and it's not as volatile. So the more people that are constantly doing that, taking small profits, and then also re-LPing with more Joe, or selling some snow for Joe, re-LPing, that's going to start sustaining those higher prices. Of course, it's not foolproof, but that's the best strategy in my eyes of how we do it. So around 1.3 to 1.5x, start remaking some LP, and then you want to start making single stake snow back into Yield Wolf whenever we're at like 1.1, 1.2. Start gearing up towards breaking that LP back, using that Joe, buying your snow, and then re-LP. You break the snow Joe, you use the Joe to buy your snow, you put that in single stake and preferably in Yield Wolf, because Yield Wolf is selling your rewards, which is shares, buying back snow and recompounding it for you, constantly putting buy pressure on the coin. So that's the benefit of Yield Wolf, and I'd like to see more TVL move over there a lot faster. I think we would have got peg faster if we had done that. Of course, we had a whale that was in the shadows that helped us out. But in the future, if we don't have that whale, that's something that I'd like to see everybody doing. And if we're at those small levels, under peg, 70 cents, the plan remains the same. It may not work instantaneously. It may take days, depending on where we're at, how much circulating supply, but it will work eventually, because people are going to see attractive APRs no matter what. As long as everybody's single staked and we still have some LP, then people are going to see it as lucrative to buy in at those levels at some point. What those points are, I don't know. That's up to whoever is buying in. That's up to every investor that comes in, but it will eventually happen. So that's my thoughts on when to break LP, buy snow, single stake it, and also when to re-LP around 1.5x. Is anything happening in Discord or Twitter to build morale hype leading up to layer 2? Maybe a giveaway or contest. Feel like we need to make sure people know about the launch. I agree with you. I do. I have Dow King, which I think is one of the most effective for Tomb Forks. I've spoken with him extensively. And I told him, since I already made the YouTube video and showed, my face and stuff, that I would like to just go on his channel and, not even debate him, because he's in the same boat as me. He loves Snowyowl. He holds a huge chunk of it. Just kind of him asking questions and bouncing some ideas off me, and me being able to come up there like I am now and kind of, give spotlight to what I think Snowyowl does best. And I think for new investors seeing that video, will be like, whoa, they have somebody from their team that's actually coming on to Dow King. What's that about? And that may be interesting enough to bring some extra people in when he already has a mass amount of following. So yes, I do want to do more in terms of marketing for layer 2, but we cannot do that until after. I promise you, I'll do my best to try and get some tweets out. I will do my best to try and find someone else to make a video beforehand. It's very hard to find impactful people to cover this space, because not a lot of people understand it to a high degree to be able to make engaging, positive videos about, which sucks, but that's just what it is. But I am looking, I think I reached out to Cryptonaires today, and I filled out one of their requests. and I'm trying to speak with one of them. One of our community members hooked me up with them, not promising anything, just telling you where I'm at because I always am transparent with everybody. Cryptonaires, I have filled out whatever application they want about our protocol and my name as the contact. So hopefully we get something running with that, which would be great because I think they have a huge following. I don't know about the Tomb Fork scene or how much they've covered from the Tomb Fork scene, but that's where I'm at with marketing. Of course, there's always better marketing. There's always more you could be doing. But at the end of the day, we have organically grown, and I think it's been so healthy, and you can see it. These invite contests, bringing new people in, the amount of people that have come in from word of mouth and no hype, we're at 2,085 members. That's insane. We've only had 2 videos about us, and our main Twitter account only has 1,000 followers. If that's not organic growth, I don't know what is. And it shows in the numbers that it's sustainable. But at the end of the day, what this protocol is doing is diluting at a fast rate, a fast emission rate. So you're going to see spikes downward because we're emitting so much snow. This is not designed to stay up this well. We just have a really strong, dedicated community that is constantly keeping it above, that sees the benefits of layer 2. And I'm grateful for that. But I think that the most effective thing we can do is just speak about it. I go in other Discords and I go on live chats with people and talk. I don't say anything about Snowyowl. People start recognizing me. They ask about my project or anything else. That puts more eyes on us. Whenever you engage with anybody about Snowyowl in another Discord community, be positive, be engaging. Those things right there will gain us more investors in the long term than I think any market shilling will, because those people will buy in for us, for Dow King's new video, and then also sell right on top of it. And right now, what we're doing and what we're building, and naturally we're going to get that from Genesis 2 because everybody is going to be eyes on that. We're a successful layer 1. We can look at Graves today. Grave had a ton of TVL on their layer 1, a ton of TVL on their Gen 2, So if we're seeing those numbers, and those are protocols that haven't been at PEG, then you're looking at a protocol that's strong, collective, and people are going to feel confident about getting in those gen pools because they know that they have investors behind them that are running this correctly. So I think that speaks numbers, in my opinion. Oh, awesome. Sync has actually, I'm going to post this right now. It's nothing too exciting, but I do have the contracts for all of the new tokens. So I'm going to go ahead and post that in Arctic info so you guys can head over there and see and check them out yourself. Also, I wanted to talk about it briefly. The website should be live later. I don't know what time zone you're in. To me, it'll be tomorrow probably. The website will be live so everybody can check it out, see the new clean UI and kind of what the pools are looking like and stuff like that. So everybody's going to have a chance to do that, which is pretty exciting. Glad that we have that. Again, just check out Arctic Fox info, and all that information is going to be right there. Let's see what else we have. I just want to take some extra questions real quick before I get into too much because it's going to be a short Ask Me Anything. I've already talked about strategy for layer 2. I'd rather have more questions from the community today. And I also talked about fighting for PEG. Actually, I didn't talk too much about that, so I can talk about that again. Let me check if there's any more Ask Me Anything questions. Will there be a burn of Snowshares in the future? Yes. Very important that everybody understands that. There will be a burn of Snowshare. And what that means is that we are going to have a rebate feature in Layer 2 that is buying back Snowshares, right? Those are never going back into the market, and you get Fox in return, similar to how the rebates work right now. And the reason that's so crazy is because we're going to be running a layer 2 and layer 1 will end in early April. There will be a hard cap of Snowshares. It stops at 64,000. No boards are going to be made, and people are going to start rebating them. So it's going to be a dwindling supply, and layer 1 will still continue. So in my opinion, Snowshares is one of the most versatile tokens that we have in the ecosystem, and I think it'll have great benefits in the future. So yes, there will be a burn feature. You're going to leave Snowshares and BR for how long after launch? When will you start considering moving from Snowshare BR into what? I won't. I'll always keep stuff in the BR because the more people abandon it, the higher the APR goes. So I'll just keep doing it. And many people will move over, and this is what's going to happen is it's going to be like a rubber band effect. People will move over to the new layer. They'll see opportunities with the high APRs, and they won't understand what's happening. There'll be more higher APRs in layer 1 because it's faster emissions and less people have TVL in it, so the APRs will go up, and then everybody's going to move back, and then everybody's going to go back to the other one because then the TVL will come back to layer 1, and we're going to have that rubber band effect until eventually, kind of like an arbitrage bot, it levels out somewhere in the middle. So I'll always hold in the BR. So good question. It will also be a good idea to get Arctic Fox listed on What the Fork. Oh, okay. Yeah, actually, that's a really good idea. I don't know if they do gen pools, but I'll reach out to them. Let's see. Can you give us some time contingencies? Layer 1 ending approximately first week of April. How long for Layer 2? Layer 2 is going to be a 3-month emission rate. What purpose will Snowshare serve second week of April? There will still be farms for all layer 1 tokens in layer 2, so you'll always do that. Is there a layer 3? Me and the devs have not discussed it, but that's the natural progression of things. But nobody in the Tomb Fork scene has made it that far because their layers aren't successful to that point. I don't think. I think that's probably why most people haven't developed a new layer, and also their emission rates are much slower, so they're not even thinking layer 3 yet. And we have 3 months to figure that out. So let us give some time to to think about it, what's beneficial for all the holders, and how to make everything work together before we discuss anything like that. Does capitulation only occur as we manifest it? I don't know. I don't know. Info on Chainlink. Again, I've only got that information. I know that we're signed with Chainlink. We're able to discuss that we have a partnership, but we are still working with the marketing team to get the first. I have seen personally that we have signed the paperwork. We're good to go on it. We're good to use their name, but everything has to be verified through them. This is not some regular DeFi company. You're not going to see just some random Joe off the street come work for Chainlink. So we are with them. It takes a lot of red tape to get something to produce as far as marketing wise. It is coming, but we still have a lot of emissions left with layer 2 coming and stuff like that. So if everybody remains patient with it, I promise I'll keep you up to date as soon as I get any more information. That's extremely exciting for me to talk about. You guys know how transparent I am. So of course I'll bring that to everybody's attention when I get something new. So what's this? Oh, looks like the Arctic Fox website is live. The dev kind of dropped that in there. So everybody go check that out real quick and let me know what you think about the new UI. Well, I'll take a drink here and read some more Ask Me Anything questions. Is price going up again? Do we have the whales? All right. Quick breather. And next one, Beefy. Just reached out to him again today. Again, I can do what I can do with it. I think they'll eventually list us, especially with our longevity of hitting peg. If they'll list 2 I don't see any reason why they wouldn't list us, especially with Chainlink sponsorships that I've already discussed with them. I've reached out to them multiple times. Once we get some serious TVL and stuff like that, it'll be hard to look away from us. So I'll keep telling you all the exact same thing. I have reached out to the dev today, as I did yesterday, and that doesn't mean that we're going to get listed, but it means that we're closer than we were yesterday. Keep voting, keep viewing that thread that I've posted for Beefy Finance, and just keep moving with it. And we'll get, we're a persistent group, so I think that we'll get posted. It's just a matter of time. So apologies, it's taken a lot longer than I originally thought. I had never done this. I am brand new to this experience. So I thought it was going to be a little bit easier because Yield Wolf is so much easier. And for people that were asking about why would Beefy work with us, Beefy isn't working with us in the same regards that Chainlink is working with us. Beefy is just a yield farming protocol, just like Yield Wolf is. So they would just auto compound our tokens. But the positive thing about Beefy is it has a lot more exposure, a lot more TVL that comes into it. So that is the benefit there. And we are not partnering with them. All right, let's see. So your personal play is Snow Joe LP on layer 2 to earn Fox shares to compound in the BR. Then after Genesis, does this primary strategy evolve to Fox Joe LP, or will it be better to move Snow Joe LP back to layer 1? So you had a problem in what you said. Snow Joe on the Genesis will produce Fox, the peg token. The Fox share token will not be minted until after Genesis, and the way that's going to be minted is using Fox Joe LP or whatever the LP farms that are listed. It actually might be on the site. Let's go ahead and check it out. Can I go live on here? Let's see. I don't think I can go live on here. That's weird. I can see if it's on there, and I'm pretty sure those are the pools that we're going to go live with, so that I can speak about it. So, if we're looking at the website and we go to farms, so right now what's listed is Fox Joe LP, Fox Share Joe LP, and Fox Snow LP. Again, those are not the finalized ones, but they will be live whenever Genesis is over. Of course, we're going to add similar ones afterwards. But, I think the dev had spoken about Fox Share, Snowshare, and whatever else the future may hold, or whatever the dev chooses to do. So that is what we're doing there. If you haven't looked at the website, seriously, it's absolutely amazing. I love it. It's just as clean as the first one, and I think that's kind of nice. Everybody wants to have these really convoluted websites, and I think that the design structure that Snowy chooses, and of course Arctic Fox is no different, is really sleek, and people always compliment it, so I also love it as well. So to answer your question, Snow Joe LP produces in the Genesis pool Fox. I will then make new LP with Fox and Joe and keep that for the new farms after Genesis, which will produce Fox Share, and then I will put Fox Share in the BR. So that's my thing. Answer the beefy question. I'm aware that locking LP isn't appropriate. Then how do you think about a time lock model or of reward? Reward token would be gradually unlocked. Honestly, that's something that the dev would have to discuss with me personally. Again, time locks just aren't my thing. But if it benefits the protocol and we can implement it in a good way, then sure, I'm all for it. But it hasn't been discussed yet, so I don't want to speak too much on it. What do we use to buy Fox shares? Depending on what the LPs are, right now it'll be just like Snow, where we had to use Joe. I have requested it, and I don't know what will happen, but I really want to add this time around a Fox Avax pool, and that is because now that we have a Fox Snow LP pool, I'm almost confident that Trader Joe is able to be able to route Avax straight to Snow now, if we were to add that LP pool. Again, I don't know if the dev will do it. I'm just saying I personally would like to do it because that may give us an option in the future to be able to trade Snow to Avax using Fox as the middleman. So it's all good all around, in my opinion. I understand the benefits that we have right now are great, but I'd love to expand to new people that may not understand how to invest with just Joe and me, of course, and me and Dow King have spoken about it before. It is a big thing. It's a ceiling that is hard to break through. Teaching investors on Tomb Forks is already difficult, but now we're adding you have to use Joe. So I understand that it's difficult. So that's why I'm pushing kind of for the AVAX pool with Fox. Is it possible to have Trader Joe route AVAX to Joe so we can buy L1 and L2 native tokens via one transaction? They do this with other coins by first converting to a stable coin. I've already reached out to Trader Joe, and they won't use Joe like that. They say it's some type of issue with their routing. They don't use their native token. I think I had spoken about it before. It will not auto-convert AVAX through Joe to Snow, and it's because we only have LP in those, and that's Snow Joe or Snowshare Joe. So hopefully that's what I want to avoid in the future if we do a Fox AVAX LP. All right, so I do have a question. Photomaster, come on up, buddy. First guest of the night. What's up?
Hey, what's up? Hey, I just wanted to say a couple quick things. First off, you guys are doing a great job. I'm happy to see the protocol just churning and churning and churning, and big things to come. On Discord, a lot of people panic a lot. So just it's understandable. People panic, price goes down, people's investments. I get it. I understand. Um, if you say stuff like that on the chat, and then somebody new just heard about our protocol, and they come in and they start scrolling the chat, and they just see all these doomsday, people talking about, oh, going to zero, oh, what are we gonna do? It just sort of puts a negative light on the protocol. So instead of it just don't put that kind of stuff on the chat, because we want new people to come in. We don't want to scare new people off.
I agree. That's why I'm in there
Just,
so often. Even when I'm at dinner with my family and stuff, I'm still checking because I'm very active, and that's what I want to do is make sure that everybody not only stays positive in bad days, because that this protocol can work. So seeing it a little under peg shouldn't worry anyone, especially now that you've seen what can happen. Hopefully, in the next downtrend, when we get under peg, nobody freaks out, and we just kind of know that we have to pivot and stay positive for people that. And here's the thing: is that we may not be overinvested. Well, I am personally, but again, I'm a DGen, and this stuff doesn't affect me like it does other people. But it does affect people mentally, and sometimes this is their only way to vent it out, and I understand that. But I have to say again and again, reach out to me in DMs if you want to be negative, and I will tell you why to be positive. I will always do that. You do not have to put it in general chat unless you're just being malicious. And if you are being malicious, then that's fine. We'll deal with it. What?
If you want to DM me too, just DM me.
Yeah, and I'm sure many of the community members are exactly the same.
Just DM me. If you're scared, just DM me, whatever, man. We'll talk about it. Yeah, and with Snowy, it's different than other protocols where Snowy, they tell you that things are coming and things have already been signed and are going to come. Whereas other protocols, they say things are coming, we're working on it, nothing's signed, sealed, and delivered. We know already, so just chill. Everything will be fine. One thing I am disappointed and is I've been promoting your singing and dancing all week, and you're not doing it. I'm really disappointed. Making me look bad.
Damn, man. No, somebody put me up to that, and I don't know how to get on. Dude, maybe I'm illiterate with computers. I thought I was pretty decent, but I can't get my webcam to show, and it's pretty laggy anyway. So it's gonna look like a stop motion film, and nobody needs to see those line dances. You know what I mean?
All right. Shout out to my girl Anna C.
As always.
We're done. Keep up the good work.
All right, man. Thanks for coming up.
Bye.
All right. And I'll speak again to that. Listen, I had the number 2 wallet holder speaking to me in DMs, and I promise you, he held a significant position. And he had Joe on the side and was asking for recommendations on what to do. Now, I have too much integrity to be like, break everything, go all in. I said, do what's best. Here's what's best for the protocol at this moment. He didn't end up having to buy because someone else stepped up to the plate, put the 28K buy-in and stuff like that. But there is people in here with big money, and they're ready to work for the project. So don't fear, even in the worst, even if I'm not talking at that moment, I am doing something to benefit you all. And I hope that I've made that clear, and I've also proven it. So in the next time, let's everybody stay positive, and everybody, if they see a positivity in chat, that's a buy signal for some. If everything's melting down, I'm sure you've seen it in other protocols, the toxicity that can become of a Discord when people are losing money. It's temporary. The farms are still kicking. You're still going to make money. There's still things coming forward that's gonna affect the price, hopefully positive, which I firmly believe it will. But, market conditions be damned. We don't know. But I'm just saying, in my opinion, they could affect the price positively with the new gen pools and everything else. So you know what's coming. What's happening to your brain is that you are fearful that there may not be another opportunity, because we've been trained in DeFi to know that when things go bad, they just keep going worse. And I'm not saying that will never happen, but I am saying that this is a really good opportunity for everybody that's invested currently. And I hope that everybody sticks around. Even when we go down under peg, there's ways to pivot, and there's ways to get back above peg and keep the money printer on. That's why we got there again, because other people saw the same thing I did just now. So again, if you want to be negative in chat and you're being malicious, cool. Come to my next AMA and debate why you have negative sentiment towards this coin. And I would love to have you on. And I think I spoke about it, and I called somebody out while I was at dinner because I had just been reading it. People were debating. I think Anna had gotten in a bit of an argument and gotten heated with somebody. Man, come up. If you got something to say, come on up. Let me defend it. Let you defend your side, and let the people decide. I don't ban people unless you're just being like overtly racist or just trying to harm people. But I don't like muting people either, because I think everybody has a right to a voice, even if it's a negative voice. But I think that the way that we respond to them in the future, and like I do every single time, is respond in a positive, professional manner, and they will stop. Most people will stop. They're trying to see how much blood's in the water if they're being malicious, or they're just worried because they're losing money. So we can't ignore that fact that does drive a lot of fear in people, and it makes them do crazy things. And Discord is very easy to stay anonymous and type whatever the hell you want. So just be mindful of that. Won't we need a pretty serious TVL incoming rate to keep buying up all the emissions as we continue printing at such a rapid rate? How do you think we'll be able to achieve that? So we're over half our emissions schedule right now. And quite honestly, I think we're doing really well because we're pretty much speed running a tune fork. So yeah, of course, we do need more TVL coming in. And I think we have it at a slow, steady rate. I don't know that it'll keep being sustainable, but I know with Layer 2 coming this weekend, it can easily be sustained as long as we keep more active investors once we draw a lot of attention with the Layer 2. Can we have a night version of the website, please? Since Layer 1's only a month, I don't see it, but I did speak with someone in another Discord server. What I'd love to see is if we had like a dark mode for Snowyowl, and it turned everything off except for the eyes, and the logo just turned into glowing eyes and everything else went dark. That'd be pretty cool. But, I'm a dreamer. Have you spoken about the deflationary strategy, or is this posted somewhere else I can read? Yes, I've already spoken about the deflationary aspect of Snowshares being bought with rebates, giving you Fox back from the treasury of Fox. So, yes, I did speak a little bit about that. What is your recommended LP route for L2 for new investors? I'd spoken about that as well. My recommended strategy is Snow Joe because it helps Layer 1 sustain a price, and it also benefits the new protocol as well. So that's how I see it, and that's why I like Snow Joe. But of course, do whatever you feel is the best strategy for yourself. What are your thoughts on the price of Snowshares after launch of Layer 2 and well beyond if you're wanting to diamond hold? I will be holding a large, substantial stack of Snowshares to the very end because I see the value in the longevity of it. Granted that everything goes well with Layer 2 and stuff like that. Of course, we don't know what price action will be in the future. We could be in a nuclear holocaust at that point. Who knows? But I'll be holding them. So I can't tell you what to do, but I see value, and I know that at $65, it's a hell of a bargain, in my opinion. Especially because you know the end date, and you know what's going to happen to them, and you know that they have long-standing benefits, especially when you can use them to farm new tokens and stuff like that. So that's my thoughts on it. You should probably warn people to be caution about buying Fox and Foxshare right now since there's very little liquidity. Yeah, I'm trying to see in Deck Screener if this is the actual contract. I'm watching it. There is no liquidity. Please do not buy these coins right now. That was not the intended effect of them posting it to buy in. There is no liquidity. You are going to get absolutely wrecked. Do not buy it. Do not buy it. Do not buy it. And that's why you see large, substantial drops right after the end of Genesis pools, is because there is no tokens of these. There's only one of each. So if you are buying them right now, you are going to get smashed. So please don't buy either of them. Those are posted up for everybody to review the contracts themselves. Send them to your best friends, whatever you want to do. They're there for you to view before we launch so that you can get everything in order. Ride the waves, bruh. True. Will the Layer 1 Snowshare BR still be open after Layer 1 ends, or does that shut down as well? So, Layer 1, so this could be wrong, and this is one thing that I'll speak unfactually about, something that I don't know. because I've never seen the end of emissions. But to my knowledge, snow can still inflate in price or inflate in circulation, and Snowshare can still be used as long as snow is still above peg. I'm pretty sure the boardroom can still print just as it is, regardless if emissions are ended with it. There will only be so many that can be staked or used for LP at that point, which again is another bullish sign. Layer 1 emissions end does not mean Layer 1 is closed off, done for, in my understanding of it. Now, I could be wrong, and I could be speaking super irrelevant information, so apologize if you know better than I do. Tell me I'm stupid. Will the Layer 1... okay, the same question. Okay, thanks for the answer. Will there be more snow bond to buy to deflate Layer 1? So it's essential that everybody understands what bonding is for. Bonding is for reducing the supply or the circulating supply of snow whenever we are under peg to increase price volatility, similar to what we do whenever we break LP. We're increasing price volatility so that price swings can be more massive, and it's easier whenever we're adding buy pressure back into it to get back to peg. That is the intended goal of a bond. And in return, it rewards you with one-to-one snow if the TWAP is just now over that epoch. So whenever the epoch ends, it takes that current TWAP, and it'll give you it'll give you a bond. So there's only so many bonds available, similar to how rebate features work. Every single time we go under peg for an entire epoch, there's only so many available. So you got to scoop them up quick. And once they're done, no more gets printed until the next epoch. And again, that puts our protocol into debt. So it's not always beneficial for the protocol to do it, but it's necessary to be able to get back to peg. So hopefully that answers that question. Do you know of Johnson Chan on YouTube? I do not. Tell him to reach out, though, if he's interested or you have a connection or you have some way to contact him. I'll take any breadcrumb and keep following it. So anyway, another one. Oh, no. Okay. So back into my document. So the importance of not everyone abandoning Layer 1. I think this is essential to talk about, and I wanted to speak on it for a while. I know that it's fearful that spreading TVL could cause us to have a meltdown on the peg for Layer 1, as we've seen in other protocols. I hope that doesn't happen. And I'll be making strategy updates similar to what I do already right now. But the benefit of spreading out TVL and running two projects simultaneously is that we get the benefits of both farms. We get a higher APR from Layer 1 technically, and we'll get higher APR because the emissions are higher. So if we can keep that running, anybody that's still spreading TVL thin that has the liquidity to be able to do both will benefit greatly from keeping Layer 1 going, and it can still be a lucrative project for everybody that's involved. Layer 2 is added before Layer 1 ends just to give everybody that safe space to know, hey, these tokens will still have utility. We have longer emissions now. We have another layer, another utility for these coins. Don't just dump us in a month. So that's kind of my thing, is that Layer 1 and Layer 2 can work simultaneously as long as we as community can hold it up. We are going to need more people to do it, but I hope that's my big plan, is that we can keep both running, because that shows a ton of strength. So I wrote down a couple of notes, and I'll kind of read off of them. We have a massive opportunity for the first time in Avax Tomb Fork to successfully run a Layer 2 while Layer 1 emissions are still running. I'm pretty sure that's true. I wrote it down, but I'm pretty sure that's true. Somebody can fact check me and tell me. The goal is to spread TVL evenly to both protocols so that you benefit from higher APR in Layer 1 and the new high APR on Layer 2 as it releases. So again, they're all going to work. You're going to have tons of strategies. Right now we have already a ton of strategies for active investors, but now we're going to have a ton more strategies. And that's what the strategy page is for people to speak about that. There's going to be, some people are going to be jumping ship to this LP, and then other people are going to find benefits as to why this LP doesn't have that much TVL. And it's really interesting, really fun in my opinion, to be able to speak about that and move stuff around and constantly find ways to kind of make money and even the spread out a little bit. If we can keep both pegs, we will easily be a top tier contender for the Tomb Fork scene. I don't think anybody can disagree with that. If we can run two successful layers for a period of time, we will be a very strong candidate for a Tomb Fork. It's not always going to be pretty. It's not always going to be perfect. But if we can do it, I think that will, garner a lot more new investors. So all of this stuff, what I'm speaking about is that our organic growth and then also the strength that we show in the future will be what drives in new investors and sticks them around. It's not about somebody making a video to pump and dump it. It's really about organic growth, deck screener charts, community-driven stuff. That really builds a core investors that understand this, can be educated easier because they're willing to listen, and they're not moon boys. We don't need a bunch of that. We just need people that are dedicated to the cause, that want this to continue, and see benefits in what I speak about and what the project has to offer. Let's see. Genesis and Layer 2 APR alone will draw many eyes on it, and the community needs to keep this in mind. And our Discord needs to keep this in mind. We need to actively be positive. Everybody that comes in with a question, I will always answer the same question 1,000 times as a copy and paste, and I recommend everybody do the same, especially during this launch. Having a positive community has an impact on people. Of course, everybody talks about me and having me behind the project and stuff like that. Listen, I just come out here and be positive. I like spreading positivity. Life's too short to be negative. Life's too short to be negative to someone else and be malicious. So this is how I live my life, or try to. And I want other people to be able to do that as well. And so that's how I like to lead the community. And I hope that rubs off on everybody. And you're able to do the same thing in the future, because not only just in this project, you can use that in real life as well. Being positive rubs off on people, and they have to listen to what you have to say more often than not. Hatred never works. That was a little deep for an Ask Me Anything, but we went there anyway. If we can retain even half the people, we will see both layers will easily have enough TVL to keep going. As always, I'll make suggestions as the layers develop. The main goal is attaining new investors and the TVL and keeping them around. Huge, right there. We need to keep them around. We're going to have a lot of new eyes on us, and we need to say, hey, look, this community is driven to keep this project running and keep two successful protocols running hand in hand. And if they can see that, then they're going to stick here. Why chase a new rug fork when this one works and has worked for 18 days? It's not logical, and if they choose not to be here, then they're illogical people, and that's okay. It's not always going to be gravy train like we have seen it, but what I'm saying is, we're going to have people that logically come to the conclusion. We have high APR farms. It is working. It's sustainable. We have a positive community that I think is fun to hang out with. I love coming into the general chat and stuff like that, and I want to do future events. We have quizzes lined up, stuff like that, kind of a hub for everybody to come in and speak about whatever's on your mind for that day. Speak about your new strategy for Snowy Owl, for Fox, whatever it is. 24 hours for a Genesis pool is short and should stop large dumps. It will not stop all large dumps. There will be whales that come in here, maliciously add to their bag, and dump. Fine. That's cool. The high APRs are there for a reason. We're not here for a short time. We're here for the longevity of the project. We know what needs to be done. Those price swings are going to happen. We don't need to cry about it. We don't need to do it. We just need to shake off the first couple of days. People make opportunities and strategies for those first couple of days. I will help you if I can. Try and make your money. But at the end of the day, we need to be playing the project's game, the Tune Fork Scene game. So I hope that makes sense. So that's kind of the points that I wanted to touch on for this Ask Me Anything. I do have one last note, but hopefully I have some more questions that I can line up. Sorry I missed the first half, but is Arctic Fox our Layer 2? Yes. How long are the emissions for Layer 2? 3 months. Are we looking for Genesis Pool or launch in this month? Yeah, it's this Saturday. It looks like everybody's helping answer these questions. Can you elaborate on how the Chainlink partnership evolved? I understand you cannot go into details yet, but where do you see the value in, where do they see the value in partnering with us? So that's a good question. I don't know their intentions. I couldn't possibly. They didn't tell me. I know they reached out to me in Discord. They liked what they saw. They liked the community that we were building. I don't know, though. I can't speak on why they chose us, but I vetted them. Devs came in contact with them, did very well. We got the partnership. What can they bring? A huge marketing team that we're able to put their name behind, adding validity to us. I spoke about this in the last Ask Me Anything, that puts a lot of validity behind our name and lets us play with the big boys. So that's the Chainlink partnership and how it evolved. I got a Discord message. That's how it evolved. Let's see. Can I watch the Ask Me? Yes. This Ask Me Anything, like the other ones, have been recorded. So no one fret. You'll be able to hear my voice through YouTube this time. I'm just going to upload it on that same uploaded channel that I already had. I think it'll be a little bit easier than me starting up a SoundCloud rapping career. So that's where this one will be. Let's see. Any other questions? And I think we had a question. You sound like the peeps in my hometown. Uh-oh. This guy knows me. I'm getting doxxed. We have a question. Shaggy, which I'm almost positive before I bring you up here that I think you made a large purchase. I don't know that you were the 28K buyer, but come on up and speak with us. I thought you were drunk earlier. You must be sober now. Maybe you're more hammered now than you were. Shaggy, what's up, man? You got to unmute yourself. It's on the bottom. Shaggy, I don't know if you're still drunk, man. I'm trying to help you out. You got to press the bottom mute button. I think it auto mutes you also. All right. Let's see. Shaggy, you gonna be able to answer us? Otherwise, I'm gonna have to bring Tyrone up. Tyrone.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah. I can hear you, bud.
I was just gonna ask, like, I've never been in a Genesis pool, and I kind of missed the AMA. I just got back. And I was just wondering, is there like general instructions on like how to get started? Like, I guess you can use LPs from Snow, and then you deposit them in farms. Is that what it is?
Yeah. So the what a Genesis pool is pretty much, since there is zero supply, or I'm sorry, there's one coin of Fox share and there's one coin of Fox at the very beginning. Okay. All right. And so what these Genesis pool does is it allows the first minted coins to start coming into existence for people to LP or whatever other strategy they choose to use. So the benefits of having a 24-hour Genesis is that it's going to be able to mint these first tokens for people to LP, and then of course after the Genesis pool, then the game begins. The share token is given out as rewards for the regular farms, similar to how we already see in Layer 1. You're going to take those share tokens, put them in the BR, which will then produce Fox, and that will be where all the new coins come in. But there's an initial supply that will come from Fox from the Genesis pools. I don't know what the supply rate is, but it'll be spread out based on how much TVL we have in there. But there will be so many that can be minted at that time. And that'll be the static amount we get in 24 hours based on how many people are in there. And then once that happens, we're able to LP it and then begin the tomb fork with that amount of Fox. So that's all you're doing is you're just moving that LP from one farm to this Genesis pool farm, and you're getting the original tokens for Layer 2. Does that help?
Gotcha. So the Genesis pools are going to produce both Fox and Fox shares?
No,
or
just Fox. Only Fox at first, and then you're gonna make, once the Genesis pool is over, then there will be new farms that you can already see on the homepage right now that you can that you'll be able to add to instantly as soon as the gen pool ends. Or sometimes it has a buffer, so I won't say instantly. Whatever the dev chooses, then those will go live, and all those rewards will be share tokens, the Fox share token, and you'll be able to put those in the BR, sell them, whatever your strategy is, and that'll be what starts producing these coins in circulation.
Nice.
Yep. So it starts very small and then it just expands over time, and that's why the APR rates are so high. Is because at the very beginning there's not as much TVL or whatever it is. It's minting at a higher rate and then slows down emissions as it goes.
Okay. It starts at noon on Saturday.
It starts
Eastern
at
Standard Time?
1 p.m. Eastern, I think. Yeah,
okay.
1 p.m. Eastern. So be there, Tyrone.
All right. I'll do my best.
All right, good talking to you, man.
You too. Thanks.
All right, man. All right, Shaggy, hopefully you got your mic figured out. Maybe you can come back up. This man's asking me how old I am. I am 27. I'm 27. And that is 1 p.m. Eastern time for the other question. All right, so that basically covers. I really still want to open it up to more people speaking, to be able to speak some questions out to me. So if you're shy, please just type them out. But I want to be able to answer everything because I'm going to be answering them throughout the week anyway. And then I'll end off with a couple extra notes. So does anybody else have a question that they can type out? Anything at all, other than what my street address is or anything like that. I'll be as transparent as I can be. Looks like we have one more question. But I do want to just end off. What I think will be different from us and other layers, other forks and other layers is that we have a great dedicated community already. A tried and true working tune fork, and we are launching with strength rather than weakness. That's no slight to anyone else. I just think that we have a lot of garnered strength in this community. It's been proven with our prices. Maybe share token is still undervalued, but we put money where it matters. And it's been tried and true. So whenever we release a new layer, it's not to garner attention to be able to get peg on the layer 1. It is straight up just for us to keep farming. We made another protocol to be able to keep the game running, and everybody gets to win off of it. So I'm really excited about that. Granted, we could go under peg tomorrow, whatever it is. But for me, right now, 18 days printing, hell yeah. Our LP farms for layer 2 give us just enough benefits to hold layer 1 assets, but not abandon the farms long term. Because the emission rates, and I actually think this wasn't intended, but I was thinking about it, layer 1 emissions were really fast, and then layer 2 is extended. And I think that because layer 1 is faster, the APR will be able to keep up and keep attention. And then layer 2 will be more of a dedicated hub once we start reaching the end of those emissions for layer 1. So I think it could really work well with the first one being shorter and the second one being extended. I don't know if anyone else has done that, but in my opinion, that's great that we have just enough benefits to keep people engaged in layer 1. And again, great community and another fight for peg 1 because everyone stayed level-headed. And of course, well buys never hurt. Expect it again. Reposition yourself to be properly respond this time. If you saw a mistake you made and not being able to pivot, not having any dry powder, learn from your mistake. Learn what the project needs for us to succeed, and find a way for the next time this is coming up, because it will. Sorry to tell you, sorry to be a doomsayer, but it will. Then you will know exactly what you need to do with your bag to one, benefit yourself because it's your money, and two, also protect the farms and keep everything running, because at the end of the day, that's what brings in new TVL, and that's what will eventually continue the farms and fill your bags. So that's my thoughts on it, and that is. Other than the questions I'm going to answer, and I'll stay on here and just answer some questions for a little while. Hopefully more people come up. I have 83 people. Look, we're growing in people every single time. So these Ask Me Anythings are working. I'm getting more people engaged, which I'm very excited about. Maybe next time we can touch 100, and then just keep growing from there. So I've got Ponzolo, got him coming up. What's going on? You there? Uh-oh. We got another mic muter. And he's gone. Sorry, I'm sorry if this is an ASMR of me drinking this water. I got parched last time, so I knew that I had to bring something to not let my throat dry out completely. All right. Sorry I missed some of the AMA. Any update on being able to go from Avax to Snow without having to go through Joe? Yes. Again, in my opinion, and what I have pushed for, no idea if it's going to happen, but my idea is to put a Fox Avax in, and then hopefully, because we have a Fox Snow LP farm and also a Fox Avax, that we will be able to route from Snow to Fox to Avax, and then that will allow people from the outside not knowing and just wanting to jump in to not see the price impact that we've seen before that could have stopped investing. Can you go over the original strategy you talked about in the beginning of this AMA? I logged in right right after you finished. Was it the strategy for the gym pools? Yeah, I had said that most of your LP should be in Snow Joe to benefit the layer 1, while most of us start abandoning it for the temporary 24 hours. We move over to the new farms. So I want you to do that, and then whatever size bag you have, and then as you produce Fox, you're going to instantly add new Joe to that Fox, and then start putting that every hour intermittently. You're going to be adding new LP, adding new LP, adding new LP as best you can. Hopefully you have a bag to do that. This is just my preferred strategy in a perfect world. And then you're also going to be farming that throughout the 24 hours to produce more Fox, to get a bigger bag, because you're going to get first dibs on that high APR for the first couple of days. You don't want to miss it, so you want to have that Fox Joe ready to produce those shares, to get it in the boardroom, get the biggest chunk, and then as we print, you'll get bigger chunks at the beginning. Let's see. Hopefully that answers your question, DH. What do the multipliers mean? I see a lot of people talk about the multipliers. To me, they're arbitrary numbers. It just kind of shows you where to focus your LP at. I saw somebody thought that it meant like that it was a percentage, like you're going to get 10,000%. No, sorry, you're not going to get that. That would be insane. And we would mint the entire supply, and we would all be getting 1 penny Fox shares. So we don't want that. They are just to show the weights of the APR. Of course, the APR changes, so that you have to use an arbitrary number to show where the protocol will put the most focus as far as high APRs. So what is designed to have the most high APR will have the highest multiplier. Hopefully that makes sense. Will there be any utility to Snowshare in the future, since the odds are snow will fall under peg for longer periods once emissions end? So what are the benefits to continue to hold Snowshare? I'd already spoken about that once before, so you'll have to re-listen, but in the future it will be deflationary. So that's kind of my tidbit. Let's see. Anybody else? Oh, we got 2 questions. All right, we'll bring the first person up. What's going on, buddy?
Hey, just chilling, enjoying the AMA so far. I wanted to bring something up. I was taking a little bit of a dive into Trader Joe because, obviously liquidity pools are on the decks. And I thought about it today. Why would you not want to put liquidity into Avax and Joe, Avax and Snow, if you were to take advantage of that? There's going to be a lot of money sitting in Avax. People are going to be wanting to buy the token. You might not be able to farm it, but if you capture 0.25% of that volume, I guess you cut out that initial liquidity pool, Joe to Snow, but you have that extra money coming in. Would it be bad for the protocol for somebody like, let's say, one person or 2 people were to put like 100K into?
Do you know 2 people with 100K? Tell them to reach out to me.
Right.
No, sure, if it's community driven, what are the downfalls is what you're pretty much asking, of being able to add that, via our dev or the protocol itself, to adding an Avax Snow LP. What are the effects of it? I can't speak on, anything too specific, because it's not my area of expertise. But I think that having Joe drives people to buy Joe, and only Joe with our LP. And I don't know that it would benefit us to have Avax Snow, but I don't see it as a negative. I just don't know enough about it to speak on it. So I would love to see an Avax pool be opened.
Yeah.
But if it's not owned by the protocol, then people could rug it if there's not enough in it. So I don't want to see that happen to anybody.
No, exactly. I guess all I'm thinking is if you came into this protocol, you had Avax, and there was enough liquidity for someone new trying to throw $1,000 in here. If you take advantage of, I guess it'd just be like a personal thing. It's like if I wanted to put money in here, then I can just take advantage of that 0.25%. That helps the protocol. I'm just putting it out there to anyone out there who thought about this before, who has money in this.
Make some LP.
Make some LP.
Yeah, of course we wouldn't add a farm. We wouldn't add a farm like you said, but I don't see an issue with us adding it just with maybe our treasury, and maybe that's something we can look at with the new treasury that we're going to build with deposit fees and everything that the new project has to offer. Hopefully we can add some Avax pools, but no farms, of course. We want to dedicate our time to Joe because I think at the end of the day, that will give us the end that we need once we become more mature. And I think we are mature. If you look at it, we've speed ran a tune fork. I know I've said it a lot, but we've speed ran a tune fork to half its emission life, and we're killing it. So I think we're really mature, but not in DeFi terms, kind of, but because everything in DeFi 1 day is a year. But I think, but to your point, let me get back to topic. I think it would be beneficial, yes. And hopefully we can do that in the future once we have some more liquidity available from the new project. But good point. Good point.
All right, I'll let you get back to it.
Yeah, man.
Thank you.
See ya. All right. Pons, come on up.
Hey, what's up? Can you hear me?
Yeah, man, I can hear you now.
Oh, sweet. So, mic issues, they happen.
They do.
First of all, appreciate the work that you've been doing for the community and all the, the information that you've been giving out with the AMAs is extremely helpful. My question is with L2 and L1, by having both forks running at the same time, would it make it harder for Snow to maintain peg because the momentum that Fox is getting?
Sure, and it's a concern, of course. Definitely a concern. But that's the thing. That's what I had spoken about, is that I want to make sure that's important to every investor that we keep peg on the first one. And really all you're going to see, of course, there's going to be sell-offs and spikes and everything else. But with the APR still being attractive on layer 1, I don't see it falling behind for too long as we as investors spread our TVL out evenly for the protocol, because I think that it will still be lucrative enough for people to still buy into, regardless if we're running a second layer on top of it. But I don't know what the future holds. I'm really excited and nervous at the same time to see how it plays out. So yeah, of course, it's a scary time for all layers to convert into a new layer and keep TVL spread. We definitely want to focus on that, and that'll be a main area that I'll hit on consistently to make sure you're retaining LP in the first one so that we can have 2 successful layers. Because again, if you want to fill your bags up to the maximum, run 2 successful layers and see how many people hop in, because I bet you it's a lot. In my opinion, I think that could happen. I would see great benefit if I was looking at tune forks and stuff like that. Then I would see great benefit if I saw a great community, organic growth, and 2 successful layers consistently running, and 2 farms with like 7 different strategies. You know what I mean? That is lucrative to investors, and that's what we want to do, is give that holder value, give you reasons to stay in both. So hopefully we can find ways to do that. And of course we're going to make mistakes, and of course we're going to have to pivot. I ask that everybody give us patience, especially me, because I'm new to it. I've never launched a layer 2. I've never even, I've never done a fucking Ask Me Anything, but here I am. So give me some, time, and of course I will always work for the best that I can for holder value, and also to remain peg in both.
Appreciate the answer. And one more thing, is there going to be 2 different Discord channels or just 1?
No, I'll make a second set. Well, I don't know if I'm going to make a second set. Good question. I really don't want that decisive or that division, because I think other places had done that, and I think they had told me that it wasn't too successful because it isolates the 2 and makes one versus the other and puts maxis in place. I don't want that. It's a collective effort of keeping both projects running, and it's important for everybody to understand that. So I may give like a strategy page for each, but the general chat should be everybody looking to invest in everything, not just the new shiny thing, but also the old Corvette in the garage, which is Snowy. So that's my opinion. So good question, actually. I hadn't thought about that, so I'm glad you asked that.
And like what I said, appreciate the work, and I'm looking forward to layer 2.
Yeah, man. We'll see you then. All right, Dave, come on up. Dave, come up.
You hear me okay?
Yep, I got you. What's up?
Oh, yeah, fantastic. Great. Thanks for doing the AMA, guys. Really appreciate it. Okay, I've been involved with the original tune for quite some time, and I got into the forks just around about Christmas time. and very heavily involved in 2M3 as well. So I've got a little bit of experience, and when I hear you speaking, I just get this deja vu, everything you say is totally right. It's completely logical, and the APIs are great, and the community is strong, and it didn't matter shit, with 2M3. That was also a great project, fantastic community. More back.
Don't say was. It still is.
Yeah, it still is. It's still a great project. Absolutely, it still is. But it's like and I think they were hit, by people who had deliberately lost money to hit them.
Yes.
But
I believe
when
that as well.
When the big wallets come in, it doesn't matter how coordinated we are, what a great community we are, a few $1,000s or whatever it is, it doesn't matter. And that's the problem. And I think we need to, acknowledge that and think, what are we going to do? Because I don't see this going, I don't, at the moment, everything you've said today is great, and I love it. But I don't see this going any other way than the way 2M3 went.
Awesome. I really appreciate you asking that. And it's an honest concern. So thanks for coming up and speaking, because everybody kind of gaslights me up here. So I'm glad that you've asked that. One, I just want to say it again, 2M3 still a successful project. I don't think their downfall was their team, and I don't think that the project was a downfall at all. And I think they'll still pivot. Again, we have a lot of 2M team members that are here. I think one's in the Ask Me Anything right now that I speak to daily. Helps out great. They have a really good team, a really strong core team that will still develop regardless if the BR is printing. That's not something they look at when they're developing. But to your point, what are we going to do about the whales that are dumping on us? Here is what I will say. There is not a huge amount of TVL that goes into Tomb Forks from Avax. So on FTM, Tomb Forks reigns supreme. TVL and Tomb Forks on Phantom are astronomical. There is some real whales playing there, like the big boys. You know what I mean? Yeah. And they're sharks. We don't have that here. Again, I can't speak to the future. All I can do is keep educating, keep a positive community, keep ticking off the boxes that I think are the right direction for the project. I can't tell the whales not to sell. So sadly, the thing is to keep it lucrative to hold. And that's my goal is to constantly add new benefits or constantly reassure everybody that we'll get back to peg, stay positive. And to your point, I don't know what the future will be with whales. I do know that a lot of the whales want OTC. It is something I'm looking forward to, something that I have to learn, and something that I will learn and get it in place so that we're able to make OTC trades, which should benefit large whales. Because again, I have people that reach out to me all the time. I probably know the top. I think I know most of the top 10 holders that reach out to me in private, which is huge, And I want that space. I keep that private. I keep that private for a reason. Go ahead.
Yeah, I totally hear you. That's absolutely great. Thank you. When we go below peg or whatever, I mean, like for example, Bond Money right now, they're below peg. They've got quite an interesting way of encouraging the community to stake and giving rewards and so on, which I think is quite novel. The treasury system on 2M3 just wasn't enough. Have you got any ideas about below peg strategies? Obviously, there's break of LP, put it in a single staking on Yield Wolf, which is fair enough, but it's still kind of relying on us to kind of do that and at the right time and be selfless. Any other ideas that you might be able to bring in for Snowy on that?
Good question. Is there any benefits that we can offer right now at this time? I'd have to speak with the dev about because again, my first go at it.
I mean, in the future, anything in the future.
Of course, yeah.
Treasury.
We are going to have to come up with new ideas other than relying on community involvement to get back to peg. But the thing is even if most people are still at Snow Joe and understand the importance of that, and it's in Yield Wolf, and we have a large TVL in there, and there's not a ton of selling pressure, then it eventually gets back to peg regardless. It just takes time, and that's what really irks DeFi people is more than a day. More than a day's time. So right now I do not have anything, but that is a good question, and I'll write it down and try and speak with the dev about it.
Yeah, okay. And so would you be giving light 2 shares coming into the Genesis and maybe move your 2 shares over to Snow so that you can put them in the Genesis pools? And would that be your advice, or would you be saying, no, keep your Snow shares because it's deflationary and just be patient? What's your...
For me personally, and that's all I can speak on, is that I will not be moving any of my Snowshares over. I'll keep them in the BR. That's just me personally because I see value in them, and they're not at a point now that I would ever sell them at this level. I think it would be insane to sell them at this level. So, no, I won't be moving any over, and my main focus will be keeping Snow Joe LP and using it to farm the new project until, of course, the Genesis pool ends, and I'm able to start moving over into Fox, which then I will slowly start spreading my TVO out into the new project.
Yeah, okay. Thank you for that. Appreciate it.
Yeah, man. I really appreciate you coming up.
Thank you. No worries. Thanks for that.
Hey, thank you for speaking about us sounding like early 2-ohm, 3-ohm. That's a huge thing to hear.
Yeah, totally. It's not a criticism. It gives me that deja vu. And like I said, everything you say is right. And but it kind of didn't matter, and that's kind of what hurts, And that's
I'm trying not to give anybody PTSD. I'm just doing my own thing.
Yeah, right. No, you don't do that. No, don't worry. No, you're doing a great job, man. Appreciate it very much.
Awesome. Glad to have you up, man.
Okay, bye-bye.
See ya. All right, guys, does anybody else have any other questions before I wrap it up? I'd love to hear some more questions because the last point I want to make is that I am going on vacation tomorrow, and I'll leave at about 5 p.m. Eastern time, and I'll be driving for quite some time to get there. I will be able to check my phone intermittently because I have a baby, so we'll be stopping about every 3 hours. Of course, I'll check in on everybody, say hello. Now, the main majority, of course, I want to focus on just being away. I've only been doing DeFi full-time in this capacity for about a month and a half, 2 months. So this is my first vacation. I've never even been on a plane. So this is the first vacation I've had in quite some time. And I'm grateful to be able to do it. So I'm going to really enjoy it and be with my family. And I don't expect to take the full time off. Of course, I'll be here during the Genesis pool to move my own positions around, and I'll stick with the community for a couple hours that day, just answering some questions and stuff. Of course, the other mods are still here, so feel free to reach out to them. I'll always get back on my DMs, regardless how backed up I am. I'll answer every single person, as I do every day. So that is all I've got today, and as long as nobody else has any questions, I'll go ahead and wrap it up. I'll give you guys a little bit of time in case you have something. Make sure nobody's typing and ask me anything. Okay, somebody is. All right, I'll answer him later. I don't want to keep anybody here too long. It's already been going on an hour. Again, I just got to say it like I do every one of them. Thank you all for the opportunity to do this. I really enjoy it. Even when it's not as fun. Oh, Shaggy got his mic working, so we're going to have him up. But even, when there's down days and stuff like that, I still enjoy it. I still answering everybody's questions. I still love remaining positive and what that does for the community. And, I love having you guys here on the Ask Me Anythings and having a space to talk about it because, quite frankly, my fiance doesn't like to listen to me ramble. She says that crypto is a PTSD word for her. So you guys will listen to me. So that's great. I have a space to be able to talk about it because I love it so much. So thank you all for being here. Thank you for being in the community. Thank you for being active, for making the moves to keep us above peg. Thank you for everything. I'm going to bring Shaggy up, and then after his question, we'll wrap it up. Shaggy, come on up. See if we can get your mic working, bud. Let's see if it's round 2 of muted mics. Shaggy, you're doing it to us again, man. I'll give you a little bit of time. Shaggy. All right, I guess it's a no-go, bud. All right, I'm going to go ahead and end it. And again, thank you guys for being here and listening. Hopefully next time we can get even more people. I'll try and plan one as soon as I get back from vacation soon after so that we can talk about strategies, what went wrong, what went right, everything in between. And have everybody have a space to talk and get their grievances or their celebrations out. So thank you again. This Ask Me Anything will be uploaded, and I will link it as always. So thank you for being here.